Welcome back to another week, and this week it's a summer favourite, one of our favourite things to make, which is a summer pudding. Some of you may have had it before, but some of you may have not, and I'll just explain what it is. So it's white bread, berries, sugar, and that's it. So it's really, really simple. You do have to do it the night before. So it needs a good sort of 12 hours in the fridge just to really get the juices of the berries to stay in the bread. But in terms of actual contact with this, it's so simple. So hopefully you should enjoy it. In this bowl here, I've got some raspberries, some black currants and some red currants and a few other berries. So this is a really good recipe to use if you can get those bags of frozen berries from the supermarket, because they've got a mixture of all of them. This time of year it's perfect for berries, so there's an excess of raspberries. So if you've got them growing in your garden, or if you know of a grandparent or a friend who's got some, they'd be absolutely perfect to use in this dish. So what we're going to do is add some sugar. We've got, I think, 150 grams of sugar here. And then we've just got some bog standard white sliced bread. And what we're going to do with those is just take off the crusts so they are nice and easy to then pop into our bowl, which is going to be our pudding basin, and I'll show you how to line that in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is just to simply line your bowl. So I'm just using an ordinary cereal bowl, but anything that's sort of roughly this sort of shape will work. And you want to get yourself a piece of cling film. If you don't have cling film, or you prefer not to use it, you can just grease your bowl with a bit of butter to help it come out later. But I do find that it's much simpler if you do use the cling film. So you're just going to pop it over the bowl and then just press down until it fits into all of the nice bits of the creases of the bowl. So you want to get a nice smooth finish. And that is looking good. So you'll end up with these extra bits over the top. That's going to be handy for pressing it down, and you can see that all of the cling film is touching the sides of the bowl, and that's what we want. If you're just using butter, just really make sure that you spread it everywhere and don't miss any little bits, because otherwise it will stick. And there's nothing worse than making a delicious pudding and then it all falling apart at the end. So that I'm just going to leave to one side, and then whilst that's happening, just going to pop the pan onto a nice sort of gentle heat, about 4 or 5 on the induction, so I'd say sort of low to medium on the gas if you've got gas. And then I'm going to tip all of those berries into the saucepan, and then in there I'm just going to pop all of that sugar as well. So the berries will have a natural amount of sweetness, but they sometimes can be quite sort of sour, so it does need a little bit of sugar. But play around with it, depends on how sweet or not sweet you like things, so you can adjust it if you find it too sweet. Give it a bit of a mix up, and then we're just very gently going to dissolve the sugar, and the juices of the berries will start to ooze out and make this delicious, really vibrant red, pink sort of syrup, which is absolutely delicious. Whilst that's happening, we're going to move on to preparing our dish. So we're going to take our bread. I've got about 7 slices here. That should do enough for one bowl. And we want to just line it up, and then very carefully, if you've got a bread knife, you can sort of cut down, and you're just going to take the crusts off. So don't waste these bits of bread. We can turn those into breadcrumbs. You can pop those on tops of lots of different dishes. So nothing goes to waste here. Or you can pop them in a bread and butter pudding or something like that as well. So all you're left with is this sort of square of bread, and then taking your bowl, you're just going to line the bowl with the bread. So you're going to just place it in, and then I like to sort of just cut around the bread and pop in sides. So I put all of my bread in there, and you can see it's just slightly over the sort of rim of the bowl. That's okay. And you just want to sort of mould it and press it in, so it almost becomes like almost like a pastry, in fact. And the bread is just going to suck up all of the juices and become really sort of soft and delicious. So it's a really good recipe if you've got bread to use up, actually, because it doesn't matter if it's a little bit stale. So into there, the berries have had a nice amount of time. All of the juices have been released, and you don't want to overcook the berries because you want to keep that freshness. Berries are all about sort of freshness and summery flavours, so don't overcook it because it will turn almost too jammy. So I'm just going to take all of that and tip it in until it reaches the top. You might have some left over, which is actually quite nice to pour on the top at the end. So that's to the top of the bowl. And then what I'm going to do is just use those bits of bread and just fold them over. So the bits of bread are folded over, and I'm just going to then simply pop a lid on the top of the bread, of the pudding, sorry, and just press that down. And that's going to form the bottom of our dish because we're going to turn it over. I'll show you that in a little minute. And then all you're going to do is take those little extra bits of cling film and just wrap them over the bread and the fruit. And then you're going to find yourself a bowl or a plate, and you're going to place that on the top with something heavy like a can of beans or whatever you can find around the house that's probably quite heavy. And you're going to press that on there so it really sort of compresses it and firms it down, and pop it in the fridge. And you're going to leave it for about 12 hours. And what you'll find is that all of the juices soak into the bread and it turns this beautiful purple colour. So this is what it looks like when it has had about 12 hours in the fridge. So all you're going to do is take your bowl and the plate that you're going to serve it on, turn it over, lift off the bowl, and the cling film will just peel off, and you should be left with this lovely, beautiful coloured summer pudding. So I'll just show you how to serve it up. So you're just going to take a knife, cut out a nice section of the pudding. So I'm just going to lift off the piece like that. Can you see how it's really full with the berries, but all of the bread is lovely and purple. So pop that in the centre of your plate, and then we're going to just take a dollop of some double cream, nice and softly whipped, and just pop that on the top. Doesn't that look delicious? And then finally, once you put your double cream on, if you've got any of those bits of berries and juice left over, it's quite nice to just do a little drizzle on the plate like that, just to make it look even more beautiful. And that is so delicious and really light and simple to make as well. So I hope you enjoy it.